English podcast.
From English Listening Pod.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another podcast from English Listening Pod. I'm Lucy, and joining me as always is my good friend Ryan. Hi, Ryan. It's wonderful to see you again. How have you been since we last spoke?
Hi, Lucy. Hi, dear listeners. I'm doing really well, thanks. I spent last weekend visiting my aunt and uncle in the countryside. We picked fresh vegetables from the garden, which was both relaxing and a lot of fun. My aunt even taught me how to make homemade jam.
That sounds wonderful, Ryan. Fresh vegetables and homemade jam. What a treat. I had a quieter week. I finally organized my closet and donated clothes I no longer wear. It felt great to clear out space and make room for things I really love.
It always feels good to declutter. A clear space can help clear the mind, too. Speaking of making space, I've been thinking about how often we use little expressions in daily conversations without realizing how helpful they are.
Exactly. For our listeners who are learning English, these everyday expressions can make you sound more natural. Today, we're going to share many popular English expressions. We'll explain what each idiom or phrase means and how to use it, and we'll give you simple examples. That way, you can practice and feel more confident speaking.
Yes, and remember, you don't have to learn them all at once. Pick a few that seem useful, practice them, then add more over time. You can always replay this episode or take notes if you need to review.
To start, a common way to ask how someone is doing is by saying, "How's it going?" It's a friendly greeting. For example, if you run into a friend at school or work, you might say, "Hey Mark, how's it going?" Mark could reply, "Pretty good, thanks. How about you?" This question shows you care about their day or mood.
You can also use it on the phone if you're checking in. If you call a family member, you could begin with, "Hi, Mom, how's it going?" She might answer, "I'm doing fine. Just baked some cookies. How are you?" It's a casual, friendly way to start a conversation.
Another phrase people often use is, "Long time no see." We say this when we haven't seen someone in a while. For instance, if you meet a childhood friend at a coffee shop after months apart, you might say, "Wow, long time no see, Melanie." She could respond, "I know, it's been ages." This phrase expresses happiness at reconnecting.
You can even use it in an email to someone you haven't emailed in a year. Just write, "Hi, George, long time no see. I hope you've been well." It immediately shows that you're happy to get back in touch.
A phrase that you might hear when asking what someone is doing or what's happening is, "What's going on?" If you walk into a friend's office and see them busy, you could say, "Hey, Emily, what's going on?" She might reply, "I'm just preparing a presentation for tomorrow." It's another friendly way to check in.
You can also use it when joining an online chat. If someone asks, "What's going on today?" they're inviting everyone to share news or ideas.
Moving on, when you want to say goodbye but plan to see the person again soon, you can say, "Catch you later." After spending time with a friend at lunch, you might say, "I have to go now, catch you later." They could answer, "Sure, talk to you soon." It's casual and friendly.
At work, after a meeting ends, you might say to your colleague, "All right, I'll catch you later," meaning you'll see them again that day or tomorrow.
If you want someone to keep you informed about new details, you can tell them, "Keep me posted." For example, if a friend is planning a surprise party, you could say, "That sounds fun. Keep me posted on the date and location." Then your friend will remember to share updates with you.
At work, if a project is still in planning, you might say to a coworker, "Let me know when you hear back from the client. Keep me posted." This way, everyone stays informed.
Sometimes you may realize you will be late for an appointment. In that case, you can say, "I'm running late." If you plan to meet a friend at 6 but are stuck in traffic, you could text, "I'm running late. I'll be there in 20 minutes." This lets them know not to wait too long.
You could also call and say, "I'm running late. Sorry, see you soon. People appreciate the heads up.
When someone helps you and you want to show gratitude while offering to return the favor, you might say, I owe you one. For example, if a coworker covers your shift, you could say, thanks for covering my shift. I owe you one. It means you're ready to do something nice in return.
Similarly, if you borrow a book from someone, you might say, thanks for lending me that book. I owe you one. Let me know if you need help with anything.
If someone thanks you for a small favor, you can reply, no worries. It means there's no problem and you're happy to help. For example, if you hold the door for someone and they say thank you, you could respond, no worries. It's like saying you're welcome, but more casual.
And when someone apologizes for being a bit late, you can say, no worries, I just got here too. It lets them know you understand and you're not upset.
When you feel very happy or excited about something, you might say, I'm over the moon. For example, if a friend tells you they got a promotion, you could say, I'm over the moon for you. It shows your strong excitement and joy for them.
And if you find out you passed a difficult exam, you might tell your family, I'm over the moon. I got an A. It emphasizes how happy and proud you feel.
If something is not to your taste or you don't like it, you can say, it's not my cup of tea. For instance, if a friend invites you to a horror movie but you dislike scary films, you could say, thanks, but horror movies aren't really my cup of tea. It's a polite way to show preference.
And if someone offers you sushi but you don't like raw fish, you could say, sushi is not my cup of tea, but maybe next time. It keeps things friendly.
Another phrase you can use to suggest eating somewhere together is, let's grab a bite. If it's lunchtime at work, you might say, I'm hungry. Let's grab a bite at the new sandwich shop. It invites someone to go eat with you.
Or in the evening, before a movie starts, you could call a friend and ask, do you want to grab a bite before the movie? It helps you schedule a quick meal.
When you promise to handle a task right away, you can say, I'm on it. If your teacher asks you to turn in homework, you might reply, got it. I'm on it. Meaning you'll start immediately.
At work, if your manager asks for a report, you could say, I'm on it, and then immediately begin working. It shows you're dependable.
Sometimes, when something seems unfair or hard to believe, you might exclaim, give me a break. For example, if someone jokes that you spent 5 hours picking an outfit, you could say, give me a break. My outfit didn't take that long. It shows playful frustration or disbelief.
Or if someone teases you about having a messy desk, you could say, give me a break. I've been busy all week. It lets them know you think their comment is a bit too much.
A playful way to say goodbye with a promise to reconnect is, I'll catch you on the flip side. If you're leaving a group of friends at the park, you might say, I'm heading home now. I'll catch you on the flip side. It means you'll see them another time.
It's also common at work. I have to run to another meeting. I'll catch you on the flip side. It's a fun, casual farewell.
When you discover a surprising connection between people or events, you can say, it's a small world. If you meet someone at a store and find out they went to the same high school as you might say, wow, it's a small world. It shows you're amazed by the coincidence.
Or if you're traveling abroad and bump into a neighbor from home, you could say, it's a small world seeing you here. It highlights how surprising the meeting is.
If someone you know is about to perform or do something important, you can wish them good luck by saying, break a leg. If your friend has a big presentation tomorrow, you could say, break a leg in your presentation. It's a traditional way to wish success.
It's especially common for performances. If your sibling has a school play, you might tell them, break a leg tonight. It means you hope they do well.
When you're about to leave or start a journey, a common phrase is, hit the road. If you and your family plan to drive to the beach, you could say, let's hit the road early to avoid traffic. It means let's begin our drive.
And if you finish visiting friends, you might say, "It's getting late. Time to hit the road." It signals you're heading home.
To confirm that you and someone else understand or agree on something, you might ask, "Are we on the same page?" If you're working on a group project, you could ask, "Are we on the same page about our deadline?" It makes sure everyone agrees on the plan.
You can also use it in family discussions. If parents discuss bedtime rules, one might ask, "Are we on the same page about our children's curfew?" This helps avoid confusion.
When you decide to stop an activity because it's no longer worth the effort, you could say, "Let's call it quits." If you've been trying to fix your computer for hours without success, you might say, "Let's call it quits and ask someone for help." It means stop trying for now.
Or after a long day of work, a colleague might say, "I'm exhausted. Let's call it quits for today," meaning it's time to stop and rest.
Whenever something is very easy to do, you can say, "It's as easy as pie." If you learn a simple recipe that only takes a few steps, you might say, "This dish is as easy as pie." It means it's very simple.
You can also use it for tasks. Changing the light bulb is easy as pie. Just twist and replace. It reassures someone that the task isn't hard.
A phrase that asks someone to wait or be patient is, "Hang tight." If you need a moment to find information, you could say, "Hang tight. I'll look that up for you." It means, hold on for a bit.
And if you're on a support call and the technician says, "Hang tight while I check your account," it means stay on the line and wait.
To express caution, saying it's wiser to be careful even if it seems unnecessary, you can say, "Better safe than sorry." If it looks like it might rain, you might grab an umbrella and say, "I'll bring an umbrella. Better safe than sorry."
Or if you feel a little tired before going out, you might rest a bit and think, "Better safe than sorry," meaning resting could prevent you from getting sicker.
When somebody you were just talking about appears, you can say, "Speak of the devil." For instance, if we're chatting about our friend Lisa and she suddenly walks in, you'd say, "Speak of the devil." It points out the coincidence.
It's a fun expression. If you mention a teacher in class and then she walks into the room, you might say, "Speak of the devil."
If it seems like a bad event leads to something good, you could say, "A blessing in disguise." If you miss your bus but then meet a neighbor who gives you a ride, you might say, "Missing that bus turned out to be a blessing in disguise." It shows that although it seemed negative, something positive happened.
And if someone loses a job but soon finds a better one, they could say, "Losing that job was a blessing in disguise." It emphasizes the silver lining.
Whenever time seems to move quickly, you might say, "Time flies." If you start chatting with a friend in the morning and suddenly it's evening, you could say, "Wow, time flies when we're talking." It shows surprise at how fast time passed.
You often hear that when people have fun. If a weekend getaway ends too soon, someone might say, "Time flies. It feels like we just arrived."
To praise someone for doing something perfectly, you can tell them, "You nailed it." If a friend gives a great speech at a wedding, you could say, "You nailed it." It means they did an excellent job.
And if someone bakes a perfect cake on their first try, you might taste it and say, "You nailed it. This is delicious."
When you want to end a disagreement and make peace, you can say, "Bury the hatchet." If two friends had an argument but now want to be friends again, one could say, "Let's bury the hatchet." It means forgive and move on.
You might also use it in families. If siblings fought but now want to be friends again, they might agree, "Okay, let's bury the hatchet."
To ask someone to reveal a secret or share information, you can say, "Spill the beans." If you know someone has a surprise for you, you might say, "Come on, spill the beans. What is it?" It means, "Tell me the secret."
It's playful. If a sibling is keeping a surprise party a secret, you might say, "Spill the beans. When is the party?"
When you want to show you're ready to listen, you can simply say, "I'm listening." If someone says, I need to talk to you about something, you can reply, go ahead, I'm listening. It shows you're paying attention.
It's straightforward and helpful. If a friend seems upset and wants to share, saying, I'm listening, encourages them to open up.
Finally, when it's time to study seriously, you can say, hit the books. If you have an exam tomorrow, you might say to yourself, I need to hit the books tonight. It means you plan to study hard.
And if a younger sibling has finals next week, you could remind them, make sure you hit the books this weekend. It means focus on studying.
Those were the 30 common English expressions that you can start using in your daily conversations. We covered greetings like, how's it going? And long time no see. Asked about activities with, what's going on? And said goodbyes with, catch you later, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
We also looked at asking for updates, keep me posted, and giving reasons for tardiness. I'm running late. We showed gratitude with I owe you one and reassured others with no worries. Then we shared happiness with I'm over the moon and dislike with it's not my cup of tea.
We suggested eating out with let's grab a bite, showed responsibility with I'm on it, and voiced frustration with give me a break, and noted coincidences with it's a small world.
Then we wished good luck with break a leg, talked about leaving with hit the road, and confirmed understanding with are we on the same page? We ended activities with let's call it quits and described ease with it's as easy as pie.
We encouraged patience with hang tight, advised caution with better safe than sorry, and pointed out coincidences with speak of the devil. We saw unexpected good in a blessing in disguise, noted fast time with time flies, and praised success with you nailed it.
We healed relationships with bury the hatchet, invited secrets with spill the beans, showed attentiveness with I'm listening, and urged study with hit the books. All of these expressions will help you sound more natural when speaking English.
Now, practice makes perfect. Try using one or two of these expressions each day. For example, tomorrow when you meet someone, ask, how's it going? Or if you need help carrying groceries, say, can you give me a hand? You'll become more comfortable over time.
You can also listen for these phrases in movies, TV shows, or conversations around you. When you hear one, pause and repeat it. Notice the speaker's tone and rhythm. This will help you remember and use them correctly.
If you feel shy, practice in front of a mirror or record yourself. You could also practice with a partner who is learning English, taking turns using each phrase in a short dialogue. It makes learning more fun and interactive.
And don't worry about making mistakes. Native speakers will still understand you even if you don't say a phrase perfectly. Over time, your confidence, pronunciation, and timing will improve.
Choose a few expressions that match your daily life and use them naturally. Soon, these phrases will become part of your everyday conversation.
Thank you so much for joining us today and practicing with us. We hope these expressions help you speak more naturally and enjoy your English conversations.
If you found today's episode helpful, please click like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share this podcast with friends who are also learning English.
Leave a comment below and tell us which expression you liked most, or which one you plan to use first. We always love hearing from you.
We'll catch you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.